Book-to-screen adaptations have seen a massive rise over the last few years with the popularity of BookTok, Bookstagram, and just social media in general. But they're nothing new. They've been around for decades, some beloved and successful, some a little bit less. But nonetheless, they're such an important way to bring stories a new lease of life, introduce them to a wider audience, and to feed the fandoms that have loved them for so long. So what's the problem? Is the problem with the book-to-screen adaptations themselves, or is it our response to them as an audience? This discussion has been particularly prevalent in the last few weeks with the release of the Amazon Prime's adaptation of Off-Campus series by Elle Kennedy, which is an incredibly beloved series in the BookTok, Bookstagram, BookTube community. And a lot of us have read them and thoroughly enjoyed them. But the initial response to the casting was not a positive one. This is particularly interesting when we look at the new announcement from Amazon Prime for the casting of the new Boys of Tommen adaptation. Now, people have been not happy, to say the least, about the casting, and this really sparked something in my mind to discuss this, because people are loving the Off-Campus series. They're loving, and it's a really great show. But if we think back, when the casting was announced for the Off-Campus series, people were not happy, mainly because the casting just didn't match what they had in their minds of what these characters should look like, how they appeared, or just what they embodied. However, if the actors do a good job, they do a good job. We have to give these people a chance. And now that the show's come out, people have switched up and they've changed their minds. Now, everyone can change their opinion. That's not what the discussion is. The discussion is taking these opinions to such an extreme that the hate is just turning into bullying for the actors, for the authors, for anyone who's involved in these projects. The other day, Chloe Walsh's Instagram posted a response to the amount of hate that they were getting, just to remind everybody that the actors are people. And guys, it's just not that deep. I love the Boys of Tommen series so much, and honestly I'm really happy with the fact that they cast Irish actors. They're gonna do the accents wonderfully, which I know sometimes is a big issue. The Irish accent is hard to do, especially because they're from Cork. I know that the girl who was cast as Aoife Malloy has a Northern Irish accent, so I'm very curious how she's gonna adopt the Cork accent. I saw a lot of comments saying they loved her accent, but that is not the accent that will be seen in the show, I'm assuming, if they're basing it in Cork. Anyway, point is this: at the end of the day, these production companies are going to take a script and they're going to adapt it in the way that they see fit. A lot of the time, the authors don't even have a say. And these guys are professionals. Sometimes, as we've seen with Off-Campus, the casting is done well. People have to they do chemistry readings, screen testing, all these different things to make sure that they're actually bringing these characters to life. And sometimes we just gotta trust it. A lot of these shows these days, sometimes they have some cheesy aspects, sometimes they're a little bit not what we expected. But honestly, even before the casting came out, for me personally, I was kind of hesitant about the adaptation. But that doesn't mean that I'm gonna voice that opinion to the sky. For me personally, if I start the show and I just don't think that it's enjoyable, I'm just not going to watch it. I'm going to keep my vision of the book and how the books feel to me. I'm going to keep them my own little sacred thing that I love, and I'm just going to move on. And I think that's the best thing for everyone's mental health to do. Just, if the show is not matching the book, move on. Now, I will definitely be upset when, there's going to be a lot of opinions, and people who haven't read the books a lot of the time do have very different views of characters and the way that they view them. Hopefully the script is done in a way that shows these characters to the full extent, because these books are more deep, serious. They have so many layers to them, and a lot of the characters can be misconstrued at the beginning and you may not like them, love them. I know a lot of people are talking about how Shannon's weight is talked about a lot, and if they don't do that right, it could definitely come off as kind of pick me, things like that. But regardless, I'm hoping that it's done well. I trust that it will be in good hands and hopefully it'll be great, because just like the Off-Campus, just like the Summer I Turned Pretty, these are really good adaptations. So the fact that this has been picked up by Amazon is a big positive, because I know some adaptations by other production companies don't necessarily give me the same vibe. Also, a big thing these days with social media, with all movie rollouts, production, everything in general, it's all about social media presence. A lot of it is, you know, fake relationships, PR training, and all these things. We haven't even gotten a chance to see any of these young actors introduce themselves, say anything, and I'm sure they're incredibly talented. Let's just give them a chance and get to know them. That is unfortunately how the entertainment industry has gone these days. We as a society need to know these people, it seems, and I think that is definitely changing the way that projects are experienced and welcomed by fandoms, and it can definitely become toxic. That is nothing new. Fandoms have been toxic for decades, all the way back to the Beatles, but people are passionate and there's nothing wrong with that. Fandoms are communities where people share things that they love with other people, and it's a beautiful thing, but sometimes it can go a little bit too far. Chloe Walsh has faced so much backlash over the last few years that she doesn't even control her Instagram account anymore. She has someone else controlling it for her because the hate is too much. She has announced herself that she's been through an immense amount of things, and people, without knowing or understanding why she writes certain things or her personal life, she's a person that none of us know. We don't know her, we don't know the actors, we don't know each other at the end of the day, and hating this much, guys, it's too much. It's just, we're all doing a little bit too much. She is doing her best, I'm sure, and that's all we can ask for. She has written all of us some wonderful books, and I just hope that people go easy on her, because I know if I was her, I wouldn't know if I wanted to continue writing. And, you know, she's definitely expressed opinions in the past that she, you know, was slowing down a little bit because of the hate and the backlash, and I think that would kind of deter anyone from something that started off as a passion or a way to express herself and her own experiences and her life. So let's just go easy on each other. Now, book to screen adaptations themselves, there has been a lot of them, and I've definitely seen an onslaught of them over the last weekend on Instagram. There is a lot of them coming up, and I wonder if it's maybe going to be too much. I don't know. I definitely agree with the fact that we don't need a book to screen adaptation for everything, but I also stand by the fact that a couple of years ago I definitely agreed with wanting a lot of series, books and series that I love. I wanted them adapted, and I know a lot of people, before we had this abundance of book to screen adaptations, we were calling out for them, and these production companies saw that. And I think if I was an author and someone wanted to adapt my book into a movie, I'm taking that, you know, or if they wanted to adapt it into a series. So we definitely can't blame the authors for that. I think get your money, like, it's a huge achievement and we would all do it. I just hope that it doesn't become oversaturated. It doesn't become kind of something where they're just churning them out so much that these releases are no longer special. I think it's important to keep them separate, even if you just do it in your mind. For me, I can love an adaptation, but I will keep it separate. I love Wuthering Heights, the book, and the movie was fun. It was not the same thing. And in my mind, they're two separate things. I will never say they're a direct adaptation of one another, but I know everyone knows that. But they're two separate things. One of them was a beautiful piece of literature that I loved. One of them was a silly, outrageous, nice costumed, beautifully filmed piece of media that I sat in the cinema and I enjoyed. And I think that's how I'm going to approach it. I would love to hear what everyone else's opinions are on this area. I think it is fascinating. Do you think it's getting oversaturated? Do you think some of these opinions have gone too far? Do you think the hate is unwarranted? Do you think it is? Everyone's opinions are welcome and valid. Also, I am not hating on anyone specifically. This is just my opinion. This is just what I've been seeing, and yeah, I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. Thank you so much for watching. I have not recorded in a long time, but it's summer now and I broke my foot, so I'm just at home and I have plenty of time to talk about things and read, so I am back. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed, and hopefully I will see you in the next one. Bye!